Hello everyone, and welcome to the start of a brand new campaign, this time in a different game. It's going to be Shadows of Forbidden Gods, which is much more indie title than what Paradox might have gotten you used to. It has its downsides, I will get to it. Of course, don't worry, Victoria Free playthrough is still going on. Just figured there might be use for some a bit more variety. So let's start. Basically, this game is you play an eldritch god that wants to destroy the world, basically. There's quite a bit of choice, honestly. They all have their own mechanics, their own, let's say, goals and ways to win, though there are some that are also common for everyone. But we will start with something basic, which is She Who Will Feast, which is basically a giant serpent that continues to grow until it eventually eats the entire planet. And like this one, there are many myths, religions, stories, and legends as to the great evils which existed long before humans built their first cities and tamed the wilds. Most are false. Unfortunately, one is true. And this one is going to be She Who Will Feast. I will be explaining things as I go through, but I will not be spending like that much time talking about the details before I actually get into the game. Just to keep things going, I think I will make the world a bit bigger. Maybe, you know what, I would just go full on. The campaigns don't last really that long in this game. If you are really committed, you can end this in one evening, honestly. I mean, if you're really committed, you can end a lot of games in one evening. It depends on what you mean by an evening, but it really doesn't take that much time, most of the time. Okay, this is taking a moment, and we're in. As you can see, well, it's definitely not the most dynamic of presentations. There's a huge sea, that doesn't really happen that much. The biggest problem with the presentation, I think the UI is sometimes kind of finicky, but okay for the most part. The issue is the art is really inconsistent. So especially for the characters, they just very often look, especially if you look at agents, which is basically your servants. Some are just like kind of classical art, the other not. So yeah, well, that's something that you just have to get used to. But eventually you can, and the game is pretty fun. There's just the amount of option in this game is really wild. It is a bit more like Crusader Kings, so it's a bit of a story generator more than anything like other Paradox games, but it's still really fun. And just taking a look across the world, what we're standing on, a decent orcish horde over here. This one, and too bad they're right next to each other, and the other one is very small. A lot of elves I see, which is a bit worrying. Not much over here. We're standing very far from anything except the elves, and those elves are huge. Still not the biggest. But pretty significant. Elves are a problem because they are a heavily militarized society, and those places have very small population, despite being very many cities. You can see there's 31 out of 45. They don't have that much food compared to cities more to the south, let's say over here. It's not that big either. Probably look into something that's... All the cities are not that huge. 55, 61. Okay, here's 103, a bit of a bigger city over here. They don't have that many good connections to farms that would give them more food, from what I can see. Okay, another 105 because it has two cities over here and also good temperature to allow bigger population. Oh yeah, here again. Here are some bigger cities. Are those other elves also not that populous? Yeah, those are some bigger numbers over here, but not extreme ones. So there are many ways to finish a campaign. Basically, you can see it's a bit like a board game. You get points, and once you reach enough points, you end the game. You can just kill people, you can unshadow them, you can make them insane. But I think what we're going to try and do is take over a religion. So let's see what we have with religions at the start. So we have Sisters of Faith over here, not very big. A lot of places don't have any religion, interestingly enough. That is not always the case. And here we have Sisters of Purity, even smaller holy order. And here we have, what's this? Calling of Patis. I think this is the biggest one. Now, there is the thing that the smaller the religion is, the easier it will be to take over. Let's see what their tenets are. Crusader Faith. That's not too bad. Candle circles. That's a bit annoying because warding keeps them from becoming enshadowed, which basically is becoming under our influence. Not the worst. Awareness of elder power. That's annoying because the ward doesn't really know we are present or we are waking up and there's any need to actually shut us down with rituals. With this, they're going to be spreading awareness, which is a bit annoying. Those guys, charitable works and strengthened faith. This is actually if under their influence. And here's a circle of witches who are already workshopping us a little bit. I'm kind of thinking about trying to take over Sisters of Faith, just so we can, because we can affect all of those tenants. As you can see, there's a lot of them. We'll try to take control of them, but one thing is check the prophecy. Every religion has their prophecy. And if you end up fulfilling all of those, they decide that you're their prophet and they will start listening to you, which is obviously very good. And we can manipulate our agents to actually fulfill those requirements. And those don't seem too bad, honestly. Well, those guys are also preachers, which is really good, and temple builders. So that's nice. Those guys are much bigger preachers. Yeah, Sisters of Faith, I think, are going to be our goal. And they're also pretty nearby our tomb over here, which is basically where the snake currently resides. And yeah, there's a decent sized kingdom over here. We'll be probably also doing a lot of other stuff just to sow chaos and so on, but probably will start trying to take just over those guys. And an additional thing we want to do is take over Seat of Holy Order, infiltrate it basically. They have pretty high security. The way it works is when your agents do something, they fulfill challenges. They have the stats, and it works very simply. The challenge has, for example, complexity of 65. So you divide 65 by the corresponding attribute, which is might, and you get the amount of turns the agent needs to spend doing this action, and they always succeed. There also are events that happen during fulfilling challenges that then stop them, but for the most part, they are always successful. Which means you can always do stuff, it only depends on how much time they have to spend on them. And security causes complexity of infiltrate missions to skyrocket. As you can see now, it's 200, which is pretty expensive in terms of time, though we can lower it by infiltrating the surrounding areas, which we'll definitely do. For example, here is only one. Security in the area around it is much lighter, so it will be something we will pursue for sure. What is the biggest human nation, actually? In the deserts, interesting, and this is quite huge, and there are some mages casting stuff over here. Yeah, they're increasing the habitability in this area, which means more people, more food, more money, and more soldiers. Another one here. I'm wondering if we should start and try to also prepare a Shadow Kingdom. Well, Dark Empire, I think it's called in the game, which is basically when one of the kingdoms becomes the kingdom of evil. It does require a bit of effort to actually take over, but we could do that because it's a really good source of money. Because you can steal from every treasury, but when the location is part of the Dark Empire, they can just give you the money because they serve you pretty much in the open. Actually, one thing I should check with the elves is see if any of their kings are racist. Because that would, yeah, she likes humans, so this is in our case bad. But if we were to look over here, who's the ruler here? This is like, oh, so this is a race that comes with the newest DLC that I haven't really played. I call them Stonians because they live underground. I'm pretty sure that's not how you're supposed to pronounce it. But yeah, there's also underground that has dwarves. And also those Stonians. Oh yeah, over here there are some of them. I haven't played with it, but I think like at the start of the game, the humans don't realize there is an underground. So I think it will be okay when I just find out how the thing works as I play. So yeah, I think I will take the supplicant, which is the starting agent. So let's see, what can he do? It's more power, more shadow. I think just getting shadow is going to be fine. Also, another thing, do we have any ruins in the area? We want to keep our agents hidden. As you can see, there's profile and menace. Profile is basically from how far heroes can see our agents, and menace is how dangerous they appear when they are actually spotted. And we want to keep both of those as low as possible, though there is a minimum that is going to be growing as they do actions. So eventually our agents are expendable. Kind of, even though they can be only recruited once for the most part because they are unique agents. There are some that can be repeatedly recruited, only those 3. Especially orcs can be very expendable. And you can also corrupt heroes and recruit them directly, and sometimes they're really, really powerful. I want to check if there are any ruins in the area. And the closest one is here. The reason is ruins are usually pretty good spots to hide away. You could also use the fact, because as you can see, this tomb is 100% unshadowed. There's no shadow anywhere else in the world, but we could try to use this to influence the elves, because there will be shadows spreading in their territory. And probably it's not going to be a priority at the beginning. Let's just move south. And let's check their prophecy again. So they want to be from the north, right? From the north, from a holy site. And I think for the time being, I will just create a courtier. He's really good at infiltrating places, so this will be his job. And the next agent that I will recruit will be the actual target to become a prophet. He's arrived. Now I could spend money to bribe the guards and lower the security. As you can see, there's a lot of things you can do. There's also like the sea people, there's magic, there's I think 3 or 4 schools of magic that have different ways, and all of them can be your way of ending the world. There's necromancy, which obviously you can end the world in the zombie apocalypse. You can use the same magic that the humans are using in here, just instead of increasing habitability, decreasing it, and you can decrease it on the entire planet scale. So ending the war in this way as well. There's a lot of ways to win the game, which is probably my favorite part. Yeah, I mean, I have some gold, so might as well just bribe them. Stop infiltrating. People are walking around. Supplicant is coming. Okay, we got more in Sisters of Faith. Someone is enshadowing. Which I'm not sure. I think that might be something that they're doing on their own. Because I'm not doing anything here. Not yet, at least. Here's the event you can get in the middle of challenges. And sometimes they can slow you down, they can give you bonuses. This is a bit annoying. But yeah, we can charm them using the courtier. And here's the supplicant. And he will start working on... do I just want to go on this village? It won't help me against the Sanctum. Though having infiltration in the general area will be helping because they are still forming the faith. And this will allow me to have more influence. Yeah, faithful settlements infiltrated, as you can see. Yeah, I think I will just infiltrate here. Also, it will be a good source of money. Because once you infiltrate a place, it's easier to actually rob it. Yeah, it's doing some redeeming. And this guy became aware. Now, I don't think it was part of the religion. I think this guy is actually the chosen one, which is the one who is prophesied to banish us from the world. Luckily, 9 command is a bit worrying, so soon this guy is going to have a nice entourage of minions who will make him very difficult to defeat. But other than that, the stats are not too high, so maybe it's a pretty good luck. We shall see though. Apparently they're not doing anything important, so that's good. We can see priority of every hero, of every city, and every country, what they're doing, and we can see exactly what they're doing, why, and what we can do to change their likeliness of doing. Like, it's not likeliness, it's they're going, next thing they're going to do is appease nobles after finishing improved relations with elves. So you can really influence stuff if you dig deep into this stuff. You can, for example, influence the barons to start funding your agents because they think your agents are heroes. So they will start giving you money. Seal is broken. We have more power every couple of turns. The seals are going to be breaking. It's representing our power being freed from the enchantments in the tomb. There are gods that work in different ways than just seals being broken in turns, but that's for another time. We have more power, and there are many god powers, and they probably will be using those first two the most. This one is slowing down heroes, can be very useful. Cannot be targeting the chosen one, unfortunately. But still, this is very useful. This one is just infiltrating a location, and actually, usually there's more locations in the seat of a holy order than just one, but we have lucked out, so we can just take it for pretty much free, which is super nice. And you can see our influence is increasing. Basically, every 200 points of influence, we can change one thing in the moral tenets. So this is going to be the first priority. Then we can start working on the alignment status, or instead, we could be spreading madness. This is an interesting proposition. I don't think we'll be spreading shadow directly because it's a bit too direct, at least not at the beginning. Explore the darkness. This is interesting. We could be spreading plague, but I'm thinking giving the Crusader faith and trying to force some religious conflicts. I think, which one was it? Structural tenants. I'm pretty sure there was something that would cause them to be much more interested in xenophobic condemnation. Is it that? No, it's just against different races. Yeah, as you can see, temples can also gain menace under certain conditions. They can be anti-magic because they need arcane secrets to gain more powerful spells. I was pretty sure there was something that would cause them to fight more religious wars. I guess if I move this to minus, to negative, or they will be just less likely. Well, anyways, that's going to be solved eventually. Might as well just be spreading madness too. So now the supplicant will take 19 turns to finish this, but since in 4 turns this is going to be infiltrated, this will go down as well. We got Calling of Patties, that's fine. We got another dwarf and shadowing. What are the dwarves doing? Hero redeemed. There's shadow here as well. I'm a bit confused. Where is it coming? It's above the dwarves there, I think. I'm a little confused. In 9 turns, I think we will have additional agent. So this is done. This, as you can see, is speeding up. We have taken this. We could go for additional castle, or we could start working on the capital here. Capitals are usually with pretty high security. This city might be an easier target, so it will have 3 with this. This guy gives -1, so we would only need some money for bribes. Though, as you can see, he has now 10 menace, so I think I will be sending him to chill a bit in those ancient ruins. They can rest and hide in every city, but if this city has no shadow and no infiltration, they will only lose 1 point of profile and menace every turn. In ruins, they're going to lose 2, so it's really spinning up. And it's not that far away, at least by sea. So that's good. It is a turn-based game, and it is going, well, rather quick when it comes to turns. Not the case for every game. Profile usually is not that much of an issue. And I usually don't mind gaining more profile as long as my menace is kept low. We got more Sisters of Faith. Excellent, excellent. The current chosen one is going after orcs, which I don't mind, especially since he's going after the weaker horde, but he's going to be recruiting knights. Which knights can be a problem. Combat is really simple. There's hit points, attack, defense. Defense work like temporary hit points for a battle, and it's just like first the attacking hero deals their attack damage, then the defending hero, then the minions in rows, and whoever wins survives. You can also withdraw after every turn. And attacking and withdrawing is a good way to prevent someone from doing whatever they're doing, because it stops their challenge. And it can be useful sometimes. This guy's finished. We have new agent. We have Fleeting Servant. It's much more occasionally used. Power requires some situation that really calls for it to be used. Shadows turn back in here. Why do you guys have such problems with Shadow? Is it because of somehow the connection between you guys and dwarves? There's plenty of Shadow here as well. You guys have a lot of problems with unrest too. Well, that's only good for me, especially since this is the biggest human nation. And otherwise, making a lot of problems for them would be difficult, though definitely possible. For example, hitting this town, we could reduce the amount of food it produces, causing mass starvation in this entire surrounding area. Or we could always play if we infiltrated, and let's see, some good old sewers. We could spread plague, and that usually is pretty good way of weakening a kingdom as well. And this is a good target for such an operation. Our hero leveled up, which basically means they will be doing actions faster. And usually the first one should go into intrigue, I think. And let's create the Cursed. The Cursed is most often the MVP of my playthrough because they have very balanced stats and they are really good at combat and more than combat at distracting enemy heroes. So they need to be from the north and they're from a holy place, right? They're going to be our prophet. North holy site. And then they will be powerful. So north holy site. I think this counts as north still. It's basically from above the middle of the map. So maybe I don't really want to calculate it, so just to make it easier, is there anything more to the north? There you go, holy site. And there is going to be a small problem of starting here, but because the cursed starts, well, with the curse, and someone put that curse on them, they can gain much more power by killing them, and he's Baron Fiant Asai, which is nice. It's not a moving hero, so it makes them a much easier target. Petrifying Gaze. So the reason the cursed one is so strong is they reduce the hero's attack and defense by 2, which is really nice. And then they, after the cursed is, the vengeance is done, they will be able to petrify the hero for like 5 turns, or like distract them. I'm not sure how it's called in the game. So I think he likes cruelty, danger, and culling of parties, which is the religion we don't like, and dislikes gold. This is a complicated man, I have to say. I think what we're going to do is we're going to have power in 1 turn. We just gain 10% every turn. There are some ways to gain more power, but we're not really going to be exploring that right now. Just going to wait 1 turn. This guy. I think really doesn't have that much menace. 130 gold, 163. I think we'll just go here and rob the treasury. So you can either rob the treasury openly or do subtle thievery, which gives him much less menace. But you can only steal 35 gold max. So let's just steal everything. I'm sure they won't mind. The courtier has reached the city and he doesn't have the cash, right? No. But he can start trying to infiltrate. Let's start working on the docks. And then the supplicant is going to show up and bribe the guards, which will lower the security kind of, and retroactively lower the difficulty as well. She's here, so we can use our power. This is a really strong god power. Usually the gods don't have something that works that directly, but having infiltration pretty much everywhere you want. It only works for 1 level, so you cannot infiltrate a whole city, because every city has at least 2 locations. Sometimes they even have 4. Especially a bit later in the game, a lot of religions build temples all over the place. So very often there's more buildings and more, which can be a problem, but hopefully for us it is going to be our temples. We'll just convince them that getting eaten is actually a good thing. Actually, let's not get too much into it. It's going to take a bit of time, but we can just do a silent assassination. You can do a brutal assassination of someone if you don't have infiltration, but it gives you, as you can see, a lot more profile and menace, and it's a bit more complexity and requires a different stat. So this is going to take a while, but the cursed one really is in no rush, and it's a best way to actually gain the stats we need. So we should be able to see, yeah, the curse is the only candidate, which is really nice because sometimes like the game can start with someone already being a prophet of a religion, or there can be numerous candidates. So becoming strong and powerful is not going to be an issue. We basically need to level up a bit. I think even weapons, items can give you more might, so it shouldn't be a problem. Funding an outpost is not too difficult either. Something we can just do in these uncolonized regions. Though it will require a fair amount of money. So this will be something we'll have to look into. Supplicant and the courtier are going to be on the case here when it comes to money. Surely they will be able to handle this. And yeah, we just take all the money. Unfortunately, that means someone is getting pissed off. And this is Sir Isis Kumes. She is of our future faith. She is has powerful stats, but for the time being, no people, no minions, no items. Not a terrible threat. And also the supplicant doesn't have... Well, the menace is kinda high, but it's not dangerously high. 20 turns. I think we'll have time to go rest a bit in the ruins, though hopefully he will go... Yeah, let's go through the north. Autosave, always nice. Yeah, let's go to those ruins. And actually, no, it's 30 minutes. For some reason, I feel like I'm talking a lot more playing this than Victoria 3. I am explaining a fair amount of stuff, so I think it's only right. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this new game. It's very nice in that there's just possibilities and interaction in this very simple world with very simple mechanics. I think it's really nicely done overall, and there's really not that much stuff that is not working as it should be. It's, I think, in a lot of ways very well oiled, and hopefully the underground is not going to disappoint me by being janky, so I don't look dumb after just talking about all that. Yeah, there's like things you can do, like causing an institutional crisis in the Elven kingdoms, because, you know, the Elven institutions are not really made in mind with people dying. So if a couple of key people die at once, you can just lock down their entire nation. And the elves also have... let's see if there's any Elven hero in the area. Unfortunately, their armies have the same picture as their rulers, which is usually not the case for humans. Any Elven hero anywhere? This is an Elven hero, but you can have agents that are elves as well. Sometimes that's actually really useful. Yeah, but the elves can have like items that are the shards of light, of crystals of light, that remove enshadowment from them, but you can steal it from them and then cast your own magic on it to cause people to become enshadowed while wearing this, and you can just throw it to someone. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to... Oh my god. This guy is going to be a pain. He has so much command. To be honest, the 3 knights is actually us getting easy off. And we will be getting our own minions. And we will be probably having some influence in the orc hordes, because orcs make for really good minions. So minions have... orc warriors have 4 HP, 5 attack, 3 defense. Yeah, so you can see they're roughly on par with a knight. So yeah, see you guys on the next session.